Welcome, everyone. So, today I'm actually going to be going through one of the chapters in my book, Unbound, Awakening the Power Within. And this chapter is all about the flow state. And recently we've been discussing this in my Facebook group, how whenever we get out of the flow state, whenever we resist anything, it actually is the cause of a lot of resistance. Okay, it causes the mind to go into anxiety, to question, to doubt. But the flow state is just allowing everything and surrendering and letting everything effortlessly unfold. Okay, so this is chapter 10 of my book Unbound. So the flow state. Okay. So there is a natural rhythm to life. It moves like the tide, rising, falling, shifting, expanding. Okay, so you could look at this as either thoughts, emotions, circumstances. Okay, it's always moving. Okay, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's moving in a linear fashion. Okay, this is where the mind will get caught up and start going into doubt and start fearing that something's going wrong, because it doesn't always go in linear fashion. It rises, it falls, and it's all within awareness. So just like the seasons, just like the inhale and the exhale, just like the heartbeat. This rhythm is not random. It's intelligence, the same intelligence that is moving through you and moving through others. It's precision. It's the dance of creation unfolding moment by moment. So when we are in alignment with this rhythm, we feel light, inspired, open, receptive. We feel connected to something larger than ourselves. We act from intuition, not effort. We respond rather than react. So when we are in alignment with this rhythm, meaning it's not that you have to be or try and there's any sort of process to be in alignment. It just means allowing. Okay, when you're allowing everything to be exactly as it is, but remaining faithful in your decision is in who you are. Okay, so it doesn't matter what's appearing on the screen. You're just remaining faithful to that decision and allowing everything to unfold. So, and that is the flow state, a space of effortless presence where life moves through us. But the moment we resist what is, the moment we try to force or fix or control, we step out of the flow. We begin to struggle. We feel stuck, heavy, confused. Life feels like a problem to solve instead of a dance to surrender to. And yet the truth remains, life has never stopped flowing. Okay, life is just happening. Only our resistance creates the illusion of stuckness. Because just imagine, if you weren't resisting anything, would you be doubting or questioning? No. So flow is the nature of reality. The universe is constant movement. Nothing is ever truly still. Even in moments of silence, there is vibration, energy, life, your life force. This movement is the pulse of creation. It's what brings form to your desires. It's what dissolves the old and bursts the new. Okay, so it's not you doing anything. It's all happening on its own. When you resist what's happening, when you judge the moment, when you fear the unknown, you block the very current designed to carry you forward. But when you soften, when you observe, when you allow, you return to flow. Flow isn't about being passive, it's about being present. So when you're present in that stillness, there is nothing to gain, there is nothing to lose, there is only now, and you are complete and fulfilled in this moment. It's about being connected to your inner guidance and allowing life to unfold, even when you don't fully understand how or why things are happening. So let's talk about this little bits about the law of polarity. One of the most powerful principles of creation is the law of polarity. It states that everything has an opposite: light and shadow, joy and pain, clarity and confusion, success and failure. Now, I want to establish here an understanding of duality. It exists in this third dimension, but in oneness, okay, in the field, in the quantum field, if you like, or in the all that is, duality doesn't exist. But in this realm, okay, it appears to exist. And we experience all of these things so that Source can experience everything, okay, because nothing is excluded from the whole. But these opposites are not separate. They are part of the same whole. Without one, the other cannot exist. You cannot know expansion without contraction. You cannot appreciate love without having experienced the illusion of its absence. You cannot recognize light unless you have walked through darkness. And just pause for a minute and think about that. This is how we learn what it is that we do want, okay, what feels true and what is our true nature is by learning what is not. And this is not punishment, it is precision. Every contrast is a catalyst. Every perceived obstacle is a teacher. Every dip in the wave is preparing the rise. But your mind, conditioned by labels and fears, wants to judge every experience as good or bad, right or wrong. It wants to resist what doesn't match the ego's timeline. So it's only the ego or the character that you're identifying with that would say, well, this is bad. Some circumstance arises. This is bad. This is because it's only because, oh, this doesn't match my time. This isn't what I planned. Okay. But remember, going back to the original, you don't have to do any of the planning or the doing. It's all unfolding effortlessly. But Source doesn't judge. God is neutral. Source doesn't categorize your experiences. It simply flows through all of them, unshaken, untouched, always expanding. And that's your true nature. Okay. You, as awareness, are unshaken. The one who's observing is unshaken by everything, by everything. It's simply the character that is shaken. It is only your judgment that brings resistance, and resistance blocks the flow. Acceptance is power. Now, you've likely heard the phrase, go with the flow, but this is more than a catchy saying. It is deeply spiritual wisdom. To go with the flow is to say, I trust the intelligence of life more than the opinions of my ego. It doesn't mean you give up on your desires. It means you release attachment to the how. You remain faithful to your vision while allowing life to orchestrate the unfolding in its own divine rhythm. To accept the moment as it does not mean, to accept the moment as it is, does not mean you approve of everything happening. It means you stop pushing against reality. So what does this mean? To accept the moment as it is, it's not saying I accept that and I agree with it and this is what I want. You're accepting it as in one potential reality, but you're not choosing it, okay? And you're not pushing against it. So you meet the moment with presence rather than resistance, and from that space, transformation happens naturally. You begin to see how the unwanted was always moving you towards clarity, how the discomfort brought you deeper into your power, how the delays were perfectly timed preparations. And this is always, you know, that saying, you can't connect the dots looking forwards, but you can connect them looking backwards. Okay, this is the flow state, the ability to hold your ideal while accepting what is. So, for example, okay, let's give an example of this. If you have an SP that is not talking to you, okay, accept it. Or if you're in the friend zone, you accept it. You play along with it, but you're still choosing the ideal version. You're still choosing yourself who's in the desired reality. Same with money. You accept, okay, this is the income that I have, or the job, or whatever it is, while choosing the wealthy version of yourself. It's just a decision. You live with the paradox. This moment is perfect, and I still choose expansion, because resistance is also saying, I don't like this moment. There's nothing good about it. That is resistance. So we are not in control, and that's a good thing. The need for control is the ego's attempt to feel safe in a world it does not trust. But your ego doesn't see the full picture. It only sees fragments. It can only see less than 0.001% of reality. It calculates based on limitation and past data. It lives in the fear of losing, failing, or being left behind. But your true self, the I am, is already complete. So you are already complete. You already have everything. Everything that is at all possible in this universe exists within you. When you live from I am, you no longer chase. That doesn't mean that you don't take some sort of actions, okay? But these aren't forced actions as wanting to get something. They're just coming from instinct, what feels good in the moment. Even if sometimes, okay, a lot of people will not reach out to their specific person because they want to feel chosen, okay? And I'm not saying you do have to reach out to them. Well, you do not, right? But if you have an inspiration to reach out to them, whatever reason, and just arises and it feels good, you just do it because you are God. It doesn't matter. You no longer need to manipulate life into giving you what you want. You become magnetic, receptive, present, faithful. Flow is a partnership with the infinite. It's the sacred balance between inspired action and divine timing. It's knowing that the unfolding is not your responsibility. Your only job is to remain in the state of the wish fulfilled and allow life to bring it to form. When you surrender control, you don't lose power, you access real power. And this is where a lot of people don't want to give up their ego's control. They really want to micromanage everything. And I know, I get it. I slip into that from time to time. And then I realize, what am I doing? I don't need to do this. Everything's perfect as it is. It's all unfolding. Staying in flow. So how do you return to the flow when life feels heavy? You pause, you breathe, you witness the moment without judging it. You remember this too is part of the wave. So you're the ocean, not the wave. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And ask instead, how is this moment serving my expansion? And to be honest, you don't even need to know, but it's just a way of taking your attention off the appearance of things. You soften your grip on how it's supposed to look. You come back to your center. You reaffirm your faith and you let life move. Flow is not a destination. Flow is not a place to get to. It's a state you remember. You are always in the stream of life. The only thing that changes is your awareness of it. Some days you feel resistance. Some days you feel doubt, and that's okay. That's all part of the flow. Don't fight it. Don't shame it. Just notice, witness, allow, and choose again. Because those doubts and fears do not create reality, okay? That's just the character identifying with the old version. You don't have to be in a perfect state to be in flow. You just have to stop resisting what is. Even your resistance can be met with grace. Even your fear can be witnessed without judgment. Flow isn't about perfection. It's about surrender. It's about presence. And the more you live from this state, the more life responds in kind. You become the open vessel through which miracles flow. And I've seen this time and time again with myself and my clients when they have truly surrendered, how life just flows. Money comes in, they hear from their SP. All of this happens because they give up trying to make it happen. So you begin to see how everything was always working for you, even when you couldn't see it. So at the end of each chapter in my book, there's a workbook which, if you purchase the Unbound book from my website, you actually get the downloadable workbook with all of these images. It looks really nice with all the images, and the downloadable workbook. Okay, where you have a reflection journal, so that at the end of each chapter, there is questions where you can actually have a look at where, what's going on within you, and actually embodying the teachings of each lesson. Okay, so it's not just reading it and doing nothing with it. The work happens when you also do the work. Okay, so there's a reflection. Just a reminder, I am safe to surrender. I'm supported by life. I trust the flow. So if you want to go deeper into this, okay, this is just one chapter of my book, and you've seen that each chapter comes with journal prompts, reflective questions. It's a workbook, okay? It's not just a book. You can purchase the full copy with all of the downloadable workbook on my website, or you can also get it on Amazon, which is just the written text. Okay, it does have the questions in there, but it's not quite the same as that. So all of the links are in the description below, and you have an awesome day.